stop thinking about it and just get one. That's exactly what I did is, initially I used the little hand engraver, then I tried the branding iron. And to be honest, at the time I thought I thought the branding iron was a really good option. Once I've got the laser now, I would never go back to using the branding iron. It opens up, having the laser opens up more avenues for you to explore within a small business. There's really no advantage to not having one. You're only disadvantaged if you don't have one. So if you know there's a machine or a tool you can buy today that'll help you tomorrow, you should just buy it.
Hello everyone, welcome back to the LaserPecker channel. I'm the host Rex, and today we're here with Liam, the founder of Stories in Wood. Liam handcrafts guitar stands and accessories from Australian hardwoods, and his work has been featured in Australian Guitar Magazine. But what's real interesting is how adding a LaserPecker machine to his workflow didn't just add a feature, he actually doubled his business. So Liam, thank you so much for joining us.
Yeah, no worries. Thanks for having me, Rex.
Yeah, thank you. And to begin with, Liam, please introduce yourself and tell us what exactly Story in Wood does.
Yeah, so I'm obviously Liam, and I'm the founder of Stories in Wood. So we started about over 10 years ago now. And what first started out as me being a carpenter by trade, and having a small workshop at home. I was always outside making things, and being a lifelong guitar player as well. One day I was literally at home playing guitar, and I thought to myself, why am I putting my guitar down on these, cheap metal stands with the plastic and the foam and stuff? And I thought, why don't I make some wooden guitar stands? It's a no-brainer. So yeah, I got out into my workshop and I started prototyping and came up with some pretty cool ideas and refined it down to one or two stands. And then kind of got the idea, why don't I try and make something of this and sell some of these online? So I thought, well, I need an avenue for that. Excuse me. So I thought, all right, I'm gonna have to come up with a name. So Stories in Wood was a pretty good idea. And I developed a logo, which I designed myself, and started selling them online. Yeah, and that was about 12 years ago now, I think. And now I'm obviously selling through my own website, and shipping them worldwide.
All right, that's cool. And you handcraft high-end guitar stands from Australian hardwoods and ship them worldwide, right? So
Yeah.
before add laser engraving, what did personalization look like for your business, and what was the biggest frustration?
Yeah, so as I mentioned, when I first started, I had a logo and the business name and things like that. But honestly, there was no personalization or branding on the products themselves. It was just make them, package them, ship them out, and that was it. Um, and honestly, it was like that for quite a while. It wasn't for a fair few years until I thought, all right, I want to take this to the next level, and just, make it more professional, and make the products a bit more enjoyable, I guess, because having the brand name and things like that, it makes them, a bit more friendly, I suppose. You can see the brand and it's familiar for the customers. So I first tried personalization with a little hand engraver, like a little pen style with the little bit on the end that moves and you draw it on like that. And to be honest with you, it just didn't work very well. Um, It'd take forever to do just one little logo, and I do the next one and they look completely different because there's no consistency. So I scrapped that idea, and then I thought, all right, I got to get serious here. So I thought the next thing to do is to get a branding iron, which is like a thing that you plug into the power and it heats up and it stamps your brand into the wood. So I ordered one of those and had one custom made. And when I first started using it, it was awesome. I thought this thing's great. It looks so cool. And I stuck with that for about a month. And then after a month, I realized I'm starting to get a bit annoyed with this thing because it takes forever to heat up. It takes at least 15 minutes to heat up to use it on the hard timbers. And then between every couple of brandings, I'd have to let it reheat up for 1 or 2 minutes. Um, and it's just tricky to get right because you got to hold it properly and line it up and everything. And I started to get sick of it, to be honest. And that's when I thought it'd be great to have something that can just do this professionally and get it right every time. And I thought, well, I know there's laser machines out there that can engrave, but I knew nothing about them. I'd never used one. I didn't know anyone that owned one. Um, and I thought that'd be great, but it's going to take a long time to learn how to use them, and I just don't have the time to put into that yet. So I shelved that idea for probably another 6 months or so. And then one day I thought I'm going to go online and do a bit of research. So went online and did some research, and that's when I first saw the LaserPecker LP1. Um, and I thought this thing looks great. Um, it's small, it's portable, it won't take up much space. So I thought I should consider getting one of these. And truthfully, I still didn't buy one. And I still let the idea go for another 2 or 3 months. Um, and then I just got to the point where I thought, I've got to get one of these things. So I went back online and I had a look at a lot of different products online and stuff. And there's some really cheap laser engravers online. And being a tradesman who's used tools my whole life, I know that the cheap ones are usually not the good ones. Um,
Mhm.
so that's when I decided, the LaserPecker, it looks great, and I can just tell by looking at the product. To be honest, I could tell by looking at the pictures of the product that it was a good quality machine. Um, and so I was happy to pay the price for the LP1 Pro, and I bought it. Yeah. And to my surprise, when I first got it delivered, I was using it within 10 minutes of opening the
Okay.
box. It was that easy and that quick to set up. I was surprised. Yeah.
Cool. And when you first look into laser engravers, I remember you did mention about most machines were too large for your workshop, and you also don't want to overinvest. So besides you mentioned about like the LP1 Pro look good, what specifically made you choose the LP1 Pro over everything else?
Yeah. So with the work that I'm doing, like I'm doing, guitar stands and doing some guitars and things like that now. They're pretty odd shaped objects. So I wanted something that could engrave in all areas on something, and something that could be set up in different places and I could move around easily. And that's the LP1. I thought, I could mount this any way I wanted to, like it's got a stand, but I could move it. I could quickly move it onto the ground if I wanted to, or on a high workbench or on a medium workbench. And because it's so small, when I'm done with it, I literally just put it in the corner and I don't even know it's there, um, because it's so compact.
Yeah, so it's
Um,
more like of a like portability and versatility of the LP1 Pro.
yeah, yeah, absolutely, yeah, yeah,
Sure.
completely portable. I mean, you could actually put it in your pocket if you wanted to.
Yeah, it's a pocket laser.
Yeah,
And thank you. And you also mentioned about like adding custom engraving with the AOP1 Pro, your business literally doubled. So can you walk us through like how does that happen? Is it like a higher margins per order, or you just have like more orders overall, or it's like you can attract more like more new customers to the business?
yeah, definitely. So initially, when I first started using it, and I was engraving my logo, which is Stories in Wood, I was engraving that on things, and it looked great, and it was professional, and it was easy to use. But it wasn't until I thought, well, I can do custom things now. It doesn't just have to be my logo in the same spot. I can offer personalization, and customers can get whatever they want engraved. So that's kind of when I had the light bulb moment. Well, a lot of people that purchase my products actually buy them as gifts. So the personalization is a really big market there, for people that are buying. So when I started offering that, it was like instant. You know, people would want their partner or their friends or whoever they were buying the gift for. They want their name, a little picture put on there, like a small message, like "Happy Birthday," whatever it might be. And when I got that area on set up and covered and on my website, and that's when it picked up. So I don't think it was. It's not so much the margin on the price, because I offer the custom engraving pretty cheap,
Mm-hmm.
because it's so quick and easy to do. You know, like using the machine is so easy,
Yeah.
and quick to do. It allows me to do it for cheap for the customers, which is, you know, benefit for them as well, obviously. But I think it's just attracting a bigger demographic of people that are
Yeah.
interested in the customization. Yeah.
Yeah, people always want something that is made specially for them. So that's why a lot of people love about customizations. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Yeah.
hmm And can you walk us through like a typical custom order? Let's say a guitarist wants their name or lyric engraved on a stand. So what's your workflow from receiving the request to shipping the finished piece, and where does the LP1 Pro fit in?
Yeah. Yeah. So cool. Yeah. So whenever I get an order come through, and it's got a customization on it, which most of them do, um, it's I'm happy about that, because I actually enjoy using the machine. I use it every day, obviously. Um, so it's a cool opportunity for me to make each product that I make a bit different, um, which is really, you know, it's fun to do. It makes it more interesting to make them as well. So, um, yeah, so the process would be, get the order would come through. I've always got a list, that I keep track of everything for my workflow. But I'll try and bring together a batch of products ready for engraving. And then I'll pretty much finish the product, like say the guitar stand, I'll finish it completely, and I'll do all the rough sanding, all the finish sanding, and wipe it down so it's clean to the bare timber. And then I'll do, excuse me, I'll do all the engraving, um, and then just put the oil finish on it, and it's just ready to go. And I have found that I can engrave after oiling as well, and that works pretty good. But I think it's a bit better to do it on the raw timber. Yeah, and then I can just literally make sure I get the right shipping label and the customized product, so it goes to the right person, and then it's shipped out. So it's a
Cool.
very it's really streamlined process. Yeah.
Yeah. And also, you recently upgraded from LP1 Pro to LP1 Plus. What differences have you noticed between the two? Is there anything that the Plus does makes your daily work, let's say, noticeably easier or better?
Yeah. Well, I've actually got. I'll just grab it. I've got it behind me here. Yeah. So the LP1. This is the LP1 Plus. So the
hmm
stand it comes with. Um,
hmm
it's so easy to use. To adjust the height here, you know, with that, and you can unscrew that or loosen it, and you can turn. You know, you could engrave a wall, for example. I could turn that like this, put it against
hmm
the wall or the side of a cabinet, and engrave. So and that goes back to the portability with it, but and it's just you can put this together out of the box within 30 seconds. It's that quick and easy.
hmm
Um, and also, yeah, I mean, it's obviously got on the top here, you can see where the power goes in. It's got the emergency stop as well. So if you wanted to stop it and your phone was out of reach, you know, you can stop it at the machine too.
hmm
And
Yeah,
it's just perfect for the products that I'm doing. Yeah.
yeah, exactly. Personally, I also like the new design also the angle of how you can twist the laser unit, so
Yeah.
you can engrave with with different angles. For example,
Yeah.
furnitures,
Yes.
different like big stuff.
Yeah. And I
Hmm.
mean, obviously, I don't make I'm not make cabinets and desks and big things, but if I were to do that, I could just do that, use that to engrave them, and it's so easy. Yeah.
Sure. And if you had to describe what you love about the LP1 Pro, or let's pick a product in general, in just one or two sentences, what would you say?
Yeah. Probably the quality of it, which as I mentioned, I could see that by the pictures before I even bought it, but then when I got the product and I opened it up, you can see by just holding it the way it's made, you can just tell it's a quality product. And I've been using it every day now. I literally use it every day for well over a year, and it doesn't miss a beat. So for me, the biggest thing is the quality because I did when I was before I bought the LaserPecker, I saw a lot of other brands, um, and some are tempting because they're so cheap. But I could just tell that they just wouldn't last. Like, I could tell the quality wasn't there, where it wouldn't compare with the LaserPecker. Yeah.
Yeah, sure, the quality. And also, you mentioned about your workshop is relatively small, and you mentioned about the LP1 never gets in the way. So for makers working out a spare room or garage, how does that compact footprint actually change the way you work day to day?
Yeah, yeah. My it's probably a medium-sized workshop, but
Hmm.
I got a lot of big machines in there that I'm using for woodworking and things like that. So I didn't want to take up a lot of bench space with a larger engraving machine. So aside from this one being able to just be used to engrave anything really, because you can turn it this way or that, you could engrave upside down, I guess. When I'm done with it, look how small it is. I put it in the corner and I don't even know it's there. It's just completely out of the way. If you wanted to, you could even fit it. You could just put it straight in a drawer. Um,
Mm.
but if you wanted to take it somewhere, you could throw it in a backpack as well. So yeah, that was a big one for me. The the portability and how compact it is. Yeah.
Yeah, and also you've been using the LP1 Pro for over a year. So from a reliability standpoint, how does it turn out? And also like as someone who ships products worldwide, is there any engraving tip or material trick you learned that consistently delivers great results? Because a lot of us or a lot of customers, they do use our machines, but sometimes they want to know how to have the consistency. Like, how can I always get the great results because I'm selling it as my product to my
Hmm.
customers? So how you
Yeah.
figure that out?
Yeah. So well, just to touch on what you first mentioned about the reliability of the machine, I guess. Um, so when I first got it and I first started using it, I was surprised about how accurate it is as well. So it can do really, really fine detail work, which I'll show you here. I don't know if you can see that. That's a guitar
Yes.
pick, though I make these picks
Hmm.
as well. So that's a very small product, and that's very small
Yeah.
detail engraving on there. So um, a concern for me initially was over time, after a lot of use, is the laser still going to be accurate, and is it still going to be able to do these details? Once it's got a lot of hours of work put on it, and now I can say that it's just as good as what the first day I got it. Like, there's no difference in the way it operates with the details and getting the quality right. And then in terms of the materials and stuff, so I've got some other things here. So these are pick holders. So you put the picks in them. So
Hmm.
these are different timbers. So that's like mahogany, blackwood, um, and like a spotted gum. So these engrave quite differently
Hmm.
because they're different density. One's really soft and one's really hard. So
Yeah.
initially it was just playing around with settings on the machine because you can adjust. I can adjust the power, the depth, and how many passes I want to do over the same design. So I usually just, if I engrave a new type of timber, I'll play around on some scrap and get the settings right, and then I'll just write the settings down. So next time I do that timber, I can just put those settings back in, and it just turns out perfect. And I don't have to worry about, if I put a few hours into making something, I don't have to
Hmm.
worry about um, ruining it at the end when I go to engrave it. I know it's going to turn out right the first time. Yeah. So probably for me, the biggest tip would be keeping track of the settings I use for the different materials and timbers that I'm
Yes.
using.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And also, one more question. So, for another woodworker, or let's say small business owners with limited space, who's on the fence about buying a laser, what would you say to them? Like based on what this machine has done for stories in wood.
Yeah. My first bit of advice would be stop thinking about it and just get one. Because that's exactly what I did is I left it a long time before, initially I used the little hand engraver, then I tried the branding iron. And to be honest, at the time I thought the branding iron was a really good option. I thought it was a really good move forward at the time. Um, but in hindsight, once I've got the laser now, it's a no-brainer. I would never go back to using a branding iron.
Yeah.
I wouldn't go back to using anything else. So if I had have just gotten the laser from the start, I would have saved myself a lot of pain and trial and error. Um, and it opens up having the laser opens up more avenues for you to explore within a small business. So there's really no advantage to not having one. Um, you're only disadvantaged if you don't have one. So if you know there's a machine or a tool you can buy today that'll help you tomorrow, you should just buy it. You know, or if maybe you might not have the funds to buy it straight away, well then you should at least be putting some aside to um, to get one. For sure.
Yeah, thank you so much for sharing with us. And I want to say thank you for sharing your stories and journey and also tell us about the stories in words. It's very
Yeah.
inspiring to see how you start your business and adding customization till nowadays. It's very cool to see that.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And yeah,
Absolutely.
and also before I let you go, if any viewers watching this video, they want to get in touch with you or want to place an order on a website, how can they find you?
Yeah. So, I mean, the easiest way to find is probably just to type in Google search, I guess. You could just type in wooden guitar stand and we'll show up. Otherwise, you can go straight to the website, which is storiesinwood.com.au, and you'll just see all our products and different variations and stuff and different timbers. And then you can just look straight on the shop page and follow the process. And yeah, we're also on Instagram as well at stories.in.wood. Yeah.
Yeah, sure. And for those of you who are watching, we'll put all the links to Liam's website and social media platforms in the description box. So if you want to check it out, please go ahead. And also, before this interview, I actually went to his website. The website's actually pretty amazing. You can see a lot of different kind of pictures and works that Liam's done. So please don't hesitate to click the link in the description box to check it out. All right. And also, I want to say again, thank you so much for sharing your stories. Thank you so much.